folks, and welcome to Subjective Thoughts. And our comic for today is Space Usagi, Death and Honor, Issue 2 by Dark Horse. Now, there is fighting, killing, shooting, and dinosaurs in this one. So, if you are in any way squeamish, you have been warned. Also, spoilers. Alright, here's the team. So, I'm finally back to this one after a long time. I think I looked today on YouTube, it's like 2 years maybe. The thing is, I got the first issue of Space Usagi back then. By the time I got around to reading it, and then, I thought, I need to get more. The problem is they didn't subscribe to it on previews, so my shop Kamikaze couldn't order it. Well, not couldn't, but they wouldn't order it if I'm not subscribed. And I talked to them about it and they said, well, we'll try, but we probably can't get it for you. Now, they could get me issue 3. That they did get me, but issue 2 they couldn't. And I had to hunt on my comic shop and hope one would appear. And one did, and I grabbed it immediately. And now finally I can complete this story. As it continues, as most Space Usagi by now, but again, you wanted to read this first. Alright, so let's get into it. I still remember more or less what happened in the first issue. So when we ended up there, in issue 1, Usagi escaped with Kiyoshi? Kiyoshi, I think the son of the Lord. He escaped with them after the Lord was double-crossed by one of his men, Matabe, and he asked Usagi to guard and prepare his son to be the Lord. So we begin this one with Usagi and let me just make sure I got the Lord's not Lord the kid's name right. Yes, yeah, Kiyoshi. Okay. So we start with Usagi and Kiyoshi and the little spaceship they're in. Their main castle is attacked. It's like the Lord, his name, and all of the castles, and this is the main one. Castle, they're kind of like castle. So it's being under attack. Everyone already in issue 1 at the end started to evacuate. And Usagi wants to take Kiyoshi away as quick as possible. Travel light speed to get to another, to the Mino, what was it, the Mino system. Is that Mino is like the people that he wanted his son to marry into that family in order to strengthen the bond between them. Says everyone's shooting. Usagi wants to take them away already, but Kiyoshi sees everything that's happening. Tells him, Usagi, you have to go back. We have to help them. And he's like, no, my job is to protect you and keep you safe, like your father ordered. Raise you to be the next lord and leader. But Kiyoshi says, well, how can I be a leader if I'm going to abandon my people now? Kid's got a point. I think he's like 15 or 14, maybe, I believe. At least what I remember. Yeah, kid's got a point. So Usagi looks at him like, okay. And then he turns back and he starts shooting at the other, what are the enemies called? Kagetori, is it? Oh, yeah, Kagetori. Okay. Yeah, so he starts firing at the Kagetori ships, telling one in command there is coming to help them. They're shooting. He's shooting at the Kagetori ships, and the other of their clan are as well. And then after that, the ship finally manages to escape with all of the ones that have evacuated. The man says, "Thank you, Commander Usagi," and that's it. They'll disappear. And Usagi and Kiyoshi are about to do the same. But then their ship is grabbed by another Kagetori vessel, a bigger one, and starts to pull them in. And Usagi's trying to escape the grip, but it's no use. So then he releases the other two spare fuel tanks they have, and they manage to fly away, and then also do the light year speed thing and get out of there. So that's good. And then I'll just check. It's much longer than the usual Usagi comic. A little bit. Okay, there we go. Shiro. Yeah, okay, Castle. Okay. Shiro Hiyoshi Castle. I'm probably butchering that. My bad. Okay, I'll just have a look. Okay. Then we move on to the Castle of the Lord. It's been conquered. And the traitor Matabe is there, and they have in hostage the Lord's like right hand, his assistant. So he's there. Is like they have come victorious, and then as he talks to the right hand of the Lord, and well, he sold them out to the Kagetori to have power in everything, from what I remember, and it is confirmed. And then what they, let's see, they're telling the assistant. Anyway, he argues with the right hand, and the right hand calls him a treacherous pig and spits on him. And then Matabe slaps him, but then the Kagetori commander, someone arrives, is brought two technicians, because in the castle it contains treasures, like information, and then all of this money. So he sets off his technicians to work, but they can't seem to find anything. The server seems to be empty. Like, no information, no treasure, no nothing. So then Matab is like, well, we'll torture the information out of the right hand. They are the assistant to the Lord. And this Kagetori commander says, my, Matabe, how cruel you are. And then he says, there's no need. We are going to, I have someone who can get that information. And then a lady appears. And the Kagetori guy's mad at her, and he said, I forgot her name, but he tells her, how many times have I told you not to probe me? So she's, I assume, some sort of telepath or something. Anyway, she approaches the assistant to the Lord, touches him, and that's how she can get the information. So apparently the Lord, the name, was much more prepared than they thought. So he had plans in case something like this happened, where if something was wrong with the castle, then the codes, not the codes, but the information and the money would be hidden inside, and you can only get it back with these codes. So they're basically stuck. There's no money, no information. And the Kagetori commander's very mad at this. Is like, what is this? You brought us here and there's no treasures, no information, nothing. And then they're like, how do we find these? And then the telepath lady says there's one more who might know, and she goes to the body of the Lord. He killed himself, so he wouldn't be taken hostage. So, and of course, the assistant's angry at her desecration of the dead. So she probes the mind of the of the Lord, but it's deteriorating because he's been dead for a little bit, probably now like half an hour. But she digs deeper and she manages to find that there is one more person who knows the codes, and that is the Lord's son, Kiyoshi. So then he's like, "All right, where's the son?" And Matabe says, "Well, I'm told by my my man that he has escaped with Usagi." And of course, the Lord is very disappointed. But then Matabe begs him to let him, to give him one more chance to prove himself. And he says, "All right, if you manage, then whatever rewards and whatnot you've been promised will be doubled." And he thanks him. Then we go back to Usagi. He and Kiyoshi have gotten like to the Mino system, but they haven't got to the edge of it because they have very little fuel left. And, the Usagi didn't want them to risk being stuck while they were doing the light speed travel thing. So then they see Kagetori ships that are trying to get another kind of ship, a Mino ship. And Kiyoshi's like, "We gotta help them." So they go in, Usagi's starting to shoot at the Kagetori ships. He goes down into the planet, manages to get one destroyed. Because he goes down into the planet that's there and goes up then. And the other Kagetori ship just bumps into a big dinosaur, like, what do you call them? The ones, if you know the movie The Land Before Time, it's that kind of dinosaur, it seems. So, then he flies back up into space. And the pilot of the big Mino ship manages to somehow evade, but the Kagetori ship still blows up that other ship. But before, escape pod is shot out, and Usagi tells Kiyoshi to monitor that escape pod, and then he destroys the ship that is left. And that is it. Then they fly down to the planet. Usagi tells Kiyoshi to stay near the ship. He'll go check. He goes there and he checks to see who's out of that escape pod. And then someone tells him, "Stop, hold." And it's a lady. She's got a laser gun. And he says, "Wait, I'm here from Lord. Yeah, I'm from his clan. I mean, I was sent here. I was just looking to meet you." And she said, "Well, all right. Since you saved us, I'll give you, her and the others, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt." And then appears two guards, like a or a hand lady, or what do they call them? Like a maiden that would be helping them. Let me see what they're called. 1 second, please. Okay, there we go. Oh yeah, it's like introduced on the Shirohoshi. Again, I'm most likely butchering that. Okay, so there's a Minister Hodu. He's an advisor to the Mino clan. And then the prince, attendant. Okay, the attendant, alright. Sam is the rabbit lady. Okay. So he's like, "Oh," and then she's, by Minister Hodo, she's being called Princess, Princess what? And he's like, "You're the princess. We were looking for you." The minister thanks him for saving them. Okay. Yeah, thanks, Princess, Kiyoshi. Yeah, Princess Kiyoshi. Okay, yeah, so he thanks them and he said they were also ambushed and their men have died up there to save their lives, basically. And then Kiyoshi goes there. Usagi tells him, I told you to wait. It's like, I was worried for you, Usagi. And then he introduces Kiyoshi to, sorry, Princess Masayo, sorry. Masayo. Yeah, Masayo, sorry, not Kiyoki. What am I saying? Masayo. Okay. Introduces him to Princess Masayo, and the kid's like, oh, hi. Yes, me too. Pleased to meet you. So then he explains that, they were hoping that they would help them, Usagi says. And so now they need to set up a beacon and hope that someone finds them, which was Usagi's original plan. So they go there. They set up the thing, but then something comes out of the shadows. Not the shadows coming. The guards see it and say, "Oh, it's just a little lizard." But then big dinosaurs appear, like these ones. They're not huge, but they're relatively big. And so Princess Masaya yells at the others, at the minister and her attendant and Kiyoshi to go and hide in the escape pod. And then and then Usagi also yells at no princess go in as well. It's about to be attacked, but then the princess shoots the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs going at him. At least I'm just gonna call these dinosaurs. And then they both fight them off. The guards unfortunately get killed by the dinosaurs. So that's it. It's all over. The guards are dead. And later, everything is set up. Now they're just going to have to wait. So Sagi tells Princess Mamasaya to go and rest. He'll watch things for now. Then Kiyoshi approaches him and asks Usagi, "Can I talk to you?" And Usagi says, "Of course, Kiyoshi." And he says, "I don't think I want to marry Princess Masayo because she's all." He tells him she's old enough to be my mother. And Usagi tells him, "Well, there's no choice. This is a political marriage, Kiyoshi. You have to. You have to remember that this is your role as leader." And he said, "Oh, yes, you are right." And then Usagi's like, "Oh, so she's not that old." He likes her. And then it's later, Usagi is sitting, and then he feels someone approaching from behind. He pulls out his laser gun, and he says, hold. And it's the Princess Mamasayo. And she says, I thought you might want some hot tea. And he says, thank you. And she asks, can I sit here for a little while with you? And he said, of course, please. And then they talk about the stars on how or Sagi wishes that she's saying that. One of them saying how they wish they never went into space because the stars used to be so beautiful, but now once you fly among them, they're not that special anymore. And then Usagi says, "Well, no, I still think they're special." And moments like these, and then they look at each other, and then they get closer, and they're about to kiss. But before they can, the Minister Hodu arrives and interrupts them. And Princess Mamasaya, your attendant was concerned about you. And he said, oh, I will go and ease her mind. I will go and ease her mind. And she leaves. She says, good night, Usagi. And he says, good night. And the Minister Honda's like, good night, samurai. All angry like, and then he leaves. Then it's morning. Usagi's still sitting next to that log and thinking, I have dishonored myself. What was I thinking? She's a princess. She's betrothed to the young lord I was tasked to protect and prepare. I gotta, I gotta forget about all this. And then he notices a shadow on the ground. He's like, that shadow. And then he looks up, and it's Matabe's ship, his turtle spaceship. And he's like, oh no. And then, to be concluded in issue 3. All right. So that was, whew. I'm so happy I got to continue this finally. All right, so first the cover. I thought I got some kind of B cover or something. But apparently these are the A covers. They were done by someone else and not Stan Sakai. But not a bad one. You see the dinosaurs over here. Then sorry about that cut there. Yeah, so there you go. You see, you got Usagi. You got Princess Mama Sao and Kiyoshi. Probably butchering these names. My apologies. Yeah, colors are very nice. You see them fighting, although Kiyoshi doesn't fight the dinosaurs. All right, now for the art. Well, there we go. This is the first page here. You see, that's the Kajitori spaceship. Oh no, wait, that's their ship. They're trying to save it. So you see, there's Kiyoshi. He's telling Usagi, "You have to go back." And there's like Usagi. Usagi's like, "Oh yeah, he's supposed to be the Lord in the future," or something like that. So yeah, there we go. And I'm not crazy about the color of the space here, though. It's a little swampy. But still, there's always good Stan Sakai art and funny expressions. Alright, so that's the art. Well, finally I finished this one. As story's going in an interesting route. I think back then I was wondering, how this is gonna continue, really, where they're gonna go. I have this feeling. I wonder if Princess Mama Sayo is not really the princess. If that attendant is actually the princess. I'll tell you why, because she knows how to fight. And I'm not saying a princess wouldn't be taught how to protect herself, but I'm getting the feeling they wouldn't let her learn how to use laser guns and a sword. At least based on how the society is. Since it's based on, Japan. And I get the feeling she's just like a decoy. So the real princess would be protected. Because I don't know, her mannerisms and everything don't really scream princess who's been raised in a castle all her life or something. But I could be wrong, but it feels to me like she might not be the princess and that attendant is the princess. And this is all a ruse to keep the princess safe. Which then good, because the attendant looks, well, first of all, I think she's about Kiyoshi's age. Which might be better, at least someone closer to his age. But we'll see. Maybe I'm completely wrong here, but that's kind of the feeling I got. I mean, it would be a smart way to conceal the princess, especially if not many know how old she is or how she looks. And granted, how can Usagi be sure? But yeah, I'm really looking forward to see how this concludes in issue 3. And then how it's going to continue, because there's the next series. As I'm certain this whole saga is not going to end in this one, obviously. Alright, folks, that is it. Let me know if you've read Space Usagi Death and Honor, issue 2, and what did you think about it? Alright, so that is it. Remember, collect what you're passionate about and share it on YouTube. Bye!